All right, so we will get started and we'll need a strap today. And well, as you can see, I have not only some blocks, but many blocks. I think we might only need one or two blocks, but have as many as you want. And we're going to start sitting in Sukhasana. Oh, and using those arms alongside, lengthening up, getting space between the vertebrae, space in the hip sockets, doing whatever swinging and shifting you want to do. And then finishing with that, letting the hands rest on the knees, pouring down the sides of the neck off the tops of the shoulders, a little lengthening up through the center line. Inhale and exhale, letting go of the rest of the day. Just be here now in your body, in this room. In this moment, and with this breath. And reaching out wide through the collarbones, through the fingertips. Inhale and exhale, breathing the arms up. Inhale and exhale, breathing them down. Let's do that twice more. And then we're going to breathe up through the right arm. I'm being the right-left mirror at the moment. Right arm up and over to the left side, bending. And then on to the left diagonal, big inhale and exhale, long reach with that right side onto the left diagonal. And then to the center. And then coming up, unfurling vertebrae by vertebrae, back up on top of the sitting bones. And just remembering which leg is in front. It's not going to be a long time. And we'll bring those legs straight out in front, hip distance apart, going for the reverse tabletop. Hands behind, fingertips forward or diagonal or side. Give those shoulders a roll out. Squeeze the upper arms toward each other, lifting a little through the upper chest. And then pressing the feet into the floor, lifting up. Of course, coming down when you need to. And feeling like when we do those interlocked fingers, inhaling up the front of the body, exhale, pouring down the back, squeezing the upper arms toward each other. And then calming down and changing the cross of the legs. And then around onto the other side without twisting and side bending. So we'll breathe up through the left arm, up and over to the right. And then to the right diagonal, big inhale and exhale, long reach with that left side. And walking the hands to the center. Big round breaths into the back of the body, settling into a little bit of stillness after all that moving we've done so far. And coming up, unfurling vertebrae by vertebrae, back up on top of the sitting bones. Inhale and exhale here in this moment. And we will reverse tabletop again. All right. And bringing the hands behind you. Roll the shoulders out, squeeze the elbows together, widening and lifting of the upper chest, and then pressing the feet into the floor, lifting up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin, really pull those upper arms toward each other, and then make sure the feet are nice and flat on the floor, pressing through all parts of the feet into the floor. And calming down. And then we will roll ourselves up over our feet, or however you need to get there, onto our knees to do the camel pose, Ustrasana. So coming up on your knees, knees hip distance apart. Bring the arms up. And lifting up and over, a little front body yawn this to start feeling where things are this morning at this rather early in the class moment. And then bringing the arms around, hands onto the sacrum, or maybe you can already go to the heels. And lifting up and over, squeezing the upper arms toward each other. And then coming back up. Big lift up, down onto the heels. Take a couple breaths here and simplify the Virasana. And we will expand ourselves up to downward facing dog. You know, along the way, make sure you've got your belt up near the front of the mat where you can reach it. Your blocks somewhere you could reach them if you wanted them. And then we'll all meet up in downward facing dog. And walking the dog or anything else you want to do here. And finishing up with whatever you're doing. And here we are in the best downward facing dog of this moment. Nothing moving but the breath. And let's lengthen forward to the plank, really pressing back through the heels. And then setting the knees down on all fours, taking a couple cats and cows. And then we'll Namaste, knees, chest, chin to the floor. Into that small cobra. And lengthening down. All right, let's do the small cobra. Lengthening up. Lengthening down. And then taking the hands out wide on the pads of the fingers, the giant bug cobra. Up. Pulling the elbows wide and coming down. And then spacious cobra, bringing the hands somewhere out in front of you. And come. And then we'll go around with those twice more. Coming down, pulling the elbows in and back as we small cobra. Inhale. And exhale. And hands outside the mat, elbows sticking out. Giant bug. And coming down. And then hands out in front somewhere. Spacious cobra. And come down. Once more around elbows, pulling in and up and back, small cobra. And giant bug. And then spacious cobra. And coming down, taking a few breaths here. And then we will make our way back up to downward facing dog. And maybe a cat and cow ripples along the way. And then here we are. And going through the vinyasa or not. And let's lift the right leg up, reaching down through the left heel. One more deep breath, lift a little more space, and then through to the left. And we will twist to the right. And then pressing the back of the right arm away, circling around, reaching back, reaching down and forward, up and open, and then twice more. And then taking that right arm around into the half line. And we'll bring the left knee down, coming up in Vinyasa, the kneeling. And we'll interlock the fingers behind. Rolling the shoulders out, lengthen up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And releasing the hands back up overhead. Namaste in front. And we will step forward. Into the concave back, halfway up. Folding over, taking a couple of breaths here, lengthening up through both legs. And then coming all the way up to standing. Big front body yawn. And pressing the arms down, long through the top of the head. And reaching the arms out wide to the side, and we're going to eagle pose the arms, bringing the right arm under. And then lengthening up the front of the body to lift the chest. Maybe a little lift through the fingertips. And then we'll come forward, reaching out through those fingertips, coming out and over. And once you're over, squeezing the elbows up into the abdominal muscles, maybe with a little bend in knees, squeezing in. And then letting all that go. And continuing concave back, holding over, Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And then we'll go around on the left, lifting the left leg up. Really breathing yourself deeper into this three-legged dog. And then a big inhale and exhale through to the lunge. Left legs in front and twisting to the left. And we'll circle that left arm, pressing it away, big reach back, down and forward, up and over, and twice. And then into the half, binding, wrapping that left arm around, rolling the shoulder out. And then bringing that left arm down and the right knee down to come up in Vinyasa. And interlocking the fingers behind, lifting up the front of the body to lift the chest, to lift the chin. And releasing the arms back up overhead. Namaste. And stepping forward. Into the concave, back halfway up. Folding over. Taking a few breaths here. And coming up to standing, big front body yawn. And arms down, long through the top of the head. And reaching the arms out wide to the side. Eagle pose, left arm under. Lengthening up the front of the body. Trying not to choke yourself. Make sure you can still breathe. And then reaching out and over. And then once you're over, squeezing the elbows up, maybe a little bend in the knees to really squeeze in tight. And then letting that go. And we'll concave back, but we're going somewhere different, so don't vinyasa away. Concave back, folding over, bending the knees, and sitting down into Baddha Konasana. Feet together, knees out to the side, holding onto the ankles or shins, really lengthening up. And then we'll come forward, pressing down and out with the elbows, trying to pull up out of the lower waist. Thinking of putting your forehead on the floor a few inches in front of your toes. And coming up, having that belt here where you loop it. And we'll bring the legs together and coming down to the floor. Oh, sliding the legs out straight. And then we will bend the right leg, pulling that in, reaching long through the left. And then belt around the right foot, extending the right leg up. Breathing out through both legs. And then belt into that right hand, bringing the right leg out to the diagonal side. Trying to keep standing on the left leg. Reaching actively through that right heel, so even though the belt is doing much of the work along with gravity here, still you want to stay active and energized through both legs. One more deep breath. And then bring that right leg back up to the center, and we will bring. And then bending the left leg, pulling the left thigh in, reaching long through the right heel. And belt around the left foot, extending the left leg. And then belt into the left hand, bringing that leg out to the diagonal side. Reaching through both legs, staying present through your whole body. And one more deep breath here. And coming back up to the center, bringing the left leg down. Big stretch with the arms up overhead. And then we will make our way back up to sitting. And then let's sit with the crossed legs again, Sukhasana. Or if your hips are feeling kind of warmed up, maybe going for the box pose, getting that left foot or top leg foot all the way across. Shins parallel to the front of the mat, pressing out through the heels. Or Sukhasana, the crossed legs is fine. And then let's twist to the right. Inhale, lots of space. Exhale and then reaching back through the right arm, taking that around into the half bind. And back to the center, switching the cross of the legs. And we will twist to the left. Inhale and exhale. And reaching out through the left arm, wrapping it around in half plank. And back to the center. And disentangling those legs. And we will expand back up into the forward bend where we came from. And concave back, getting our weight up on our feet again, pouring over, coming all the way up to standing. Big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front, Samasthiti steadiness. And then we will do Padangusthasana number 2, standing up. We sort of did that lying down. That was Supta, reclining Padangusthasana number 2. So getting your belt, and then after the Padangusthasana number 2, we'll go either to the Ardha Baddha Padma, which is this, sometimes I call it not the tree pose, or you could go to the tree pose. So if you want to be near a wall or some holding on place, going there. And you can hold your big toe or using the belt, and I'm going to put the belt around my outside foot. Take a moment standing into Tadasana. And then pressing down through the left leg, bringing that right leg up, holding closer to the foot than you think you can. A little angle out with that right thigh, and then extending the right leg. Reaching down through the left leg, long through the top of the head. And once again, you know that belt's doing a lot of the work still. Send that energy pouring out the right leg. Don't let it just hang there. Lift a little more, and then folding the right leg, let go of the belt. Maybe the sole of the right foot to the inner thigh, or maybe bringing it into the Ardha Baddha Padma, the half-bound lotus. So you can hold it with your right hand, or just right in front, or maybe that right arm can come around into the half binding and find the foot there. And if you're feeling balanceful, then that left arm can come up over. Lift a little higher to bring the right leg down. Tadasana, Samasthiti steadiness. And let's go on the other side. So having your belt, or maybe you're going to get your big toe. And And coming into Tadasana for a moment, so you have a strong place to start from. This whole thing is just variations on Tadasana. Our left, let's see, now it's going to be our right side, standing side, more or less stays the same. And then bringing that left leg up, holding closer to the foot than you think you can. Little diagonal side, and extending that. Have a good distance there. Extending the left leg out on the diagonal side. Feeling that left hip roll a little in and under. So we try not to have the left hip hiking up behind. Kind of smooth out your breathing if needed. And lift a little more to fold that left leg back and then you go with the belt. Maybe the tree pose with the sole of the foot on the inner thigh, or the half-bound lotus, but not the tree pose. And next option, you can keep holding it with either your right or your left hand, whichever works better. Or maybe taking that left arm around and getting the half binding. So one difference between this and the tree pose is in this Ardha Baddha Padma, you're trying to press the knee down toward the floor. And maybe bringing the right arm up toward, up overhead, straight up. I don't think I can talk and try to hold this pose on this side. And lifting a little higher to bring the left leg down. Tadasana Samastiti. Just be here, let the breath smooth things out, let things settle. And we will come back to the front of our mat if you're not there already. And the big front body yawn up. And diving. Concave back halfway up, folding over. And let's Utkatasana, the chair pose. Bending the knees, sitting back in the chair. And releasing over. So we're going to do more or less do Surya Namaskar B. Concave back, folding over through the Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And we'll lift the right leg up, reaching long through the heels. And through to the lunge. Coming up in the warrior one, though it could be the high lunge if you would rather. Then like Surya Namaskar B, we're going to hold a little and come down, stepping back to the plank, Vinyasa, downward facing dog. Lifting the left leg up. And through to the lunge. Warrior number one or the high. And calming down. Stepping back to the plank through the Vinyasa. And downward facing dog. 3 deep breaths here. And let's calm down into child's. And then coming back up, downward facing dog, through another vinyasa or not. I'll do the or not. And then here we are, downward facing dog. Let's lift the right leg. Dog at the high fire hydrants. And through to the lunge. Warrior number two. And making sure that knee is tracking over the foot. Inner thigh to inner to center of the foot. And then we'll dancing warrior with the half binding with the left arm. Pull the shoulder out, pull the elbow down and in toward the center. And then keeping that half binding into the triangle. Maybe that left hand can help pull that hinge of the right hip back and in a little bit. Really roll the left shoulder out. Maybe you have an imaginary arm going up to the ceiling. And then if you want, maybe the full binding, the right arm goes in front of the right thigh. And if you got that full binding, releasing it and releasing the half binding, reaching up through the left fingertips. And then keep reaching, coming all the way up to standing, turning the feet to parallel. Big front body yawn here. And coming forward and up. And then we'll turn to the right lunge to the front of the mat. And stepping back to the plank. through the Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And we will go around on the other side. And let's lift the left leg up. Bending the left knee dog at the high fire hydrant. And through to the lunge. Warrior number 2 on the left. Checking the alignment. Checking the breath. The alignment of our mind. And then dancing warrior with the half binding with the right arm. Roll the shoulder up, pull the elbow in and down. And then keeping that half binding coming into the triangle. Maybe that right hand can help pull the crease of the hip joint in and up and back. Pulling that right shoulder out, pulling up through the front of the right shoulder. And maybe the full binding, left arm comes in front, maybe it can find the right. And then we'll expand our arms into the traditional triangle. We feel in that lift from the right arm helping you. And then keep reaching with the right arm to come up to standing. Turning the feet to parallel. And a big front body yawn with. And coming forward and. And then we'll skandasana, the low side lunge. So we'll go to the right leg first, which should be the back of the mat. So rotate the feet out, shift to the right, maybe grab one of your mini blocks. And we shift and we come down, right heel nice and strongly on the floor, or maybe sitting on the floor. Maybe you don't need to block at all. Wedging that right arm inside the right leg. Shoulders down, top of the head going up. And then coming up, and we'll shift over to the left. Shifting side, they're not actually very far to the side, and then coming down. Finding where your body front is. It might not be straight to the side of the mat. Pressing down into the left foot, long through the top of the head, nice strong right leg extending. And coming back up to the wide leg forward bend. Taking a few breaths, smoothing things out, evening things out, nice and symmetrical. And then we'll turn to the left lunge, the front of the mat where we came from. And stepping back to the leg, through the Vinyasa, downward facing dog. And then looking between the hands to jump or step forward. And concave back. Inhale and exhale. And all the way up to standing. Big front body yawn. And around to Namaste in front. So we're going to do that balancing again. Probably we start with number 2 into the Ardha Padma or the tree pose. All right, so let's see. I think this time I'm going to go for my big toe. And also, let's take the left leg up first, just for something a little different. Sometimes a difference between our sides is what side we did first and what side we did second, rather than the right side is this way or the left side is that way. All right, so getting yourself set up as needed. Tadasana, Samasthiti, steadiness for a moment. So you want to be there in the pose before you're in the pose. And bring that left leg up. You're holding the belt, hold closer to the foot than you think you can, and really turn the left thigh out at a diagonal, really press down into the right leg to help extend that left leg out. And then into either the tree pose or the Ardha Padma, Ardha Baddha Padma. There, the half-bound lotus. And maybe it's not half-bound with that left arm, but still. If you're in the Padma one, pressing that left knee down and back, trying not to hyperextend in the lower back. And maybe bringing the right arm up over. Lift a little higher to bring the left leg down. Inhale and exhale. And then on the other side, bringing the right leg. Don't be in a rush. In our Tadasana. And then bring the right leg up. Little diagonal with the thigh, pressing into the left leg to extend the right leg out. Lifting higher to fold that right leg in, either into the half bound lotus or the tree pose. Maybe bringing that left arm up over. Lift a little higher to bring the right leg. Some steadiness. And here we are at the front of our mat. And a big inhale, up front body, yawn. Let's take an extra circle with the arms here. And then diving over. Concave back halfway up. Folding over. Sitting down. All right, so we're going back to our tabletoping. But this time we are going to do it with the figure four. It's kind of like the half-bound lotus a little bit, though our our foot is not up toward the crease of the hip joints, toward the knee. So if you wanted to try pulling it higher, you could. Anyway, let's go to the sitting figure four, crossing the right leg over. And then your left heel is more or less across from your left sitting bone, about a right angle there, maybe a little smaller. And taking a few breaths, holding on to that left leg or lifting from behind, stretching into things. And then we'll all take those hands behind, fingertips forward, diagonal or side. Roll the shoulders out, squeeze the elbows toward each other, or the upper arms toward each other. And then bringing your attention to your left foot. Press the left foot hard into the floor, lifting from the back of the left leg into gluteus maximus. And feeling the right knee pulling a little to the right heel pressing a little bit to the left. And coming down. And we will switch sides, crossing the left leg over. And then taking a few breaths, getting settled in here. All right, and then hands behind. Roll the shoulders out, squeeze the upper arms toward each other. And then really press that right foot into the floor, keeping the whole right foot pressing into the floor as you come up. So what happens if you let that right foot roll to the front, the back, or one of the sides is part of your back of your right thigh, gluteus maximus, is no longer working so hard. All right, and we're pressing away, pulling away through the left knee, pressing away through the left heel, up and over. And then coming down. Ah, and we'll slide the legs out straight, coming forward in Paschimottanasana. Inhale lots of space, exhale, pouring. And on, yep. And we will come down to the floor. So maybe this is good enough. Or if there's something else you want to do. So today's default suggestion will be shoulder stand or maybe the supported shoulder stand, Viparita Karani on the block. So for the supported shoulder stand, so remember, even in the supported shoulder stand, don't let yourself turn your head to the side. It's not such a potential hazard for your neck when you're in supported shoulder stand, but it's just a good habit to be in case you're up in the full shoulder stand sometime. All right, so for supported shoulder stand, we head for the same place we do when we're doing supported bridge pose, block under the sacrum. And then bring those arms alongside, hinge the legs up and extending up to the ceiling. Oh, whoops, and I just turned my head, disobeying my own instructions. All right, pressing the upper arms a little into the floor, reaching up through the feet. And at the same time, there's that pressing up, there's also a pouring down and into the floor. This supported shoulder stand can also be a good place to make your way up to the full shoulder stand with a little boost up, if you want. Just remember, if you went up from the block into the full shoulder stand, that block is there, so you don't crash onto it unexpectedly on the way down. We'll be making our way out of that shoulder stand in the next few breaths. And making your way to Shavasana. No need to rush. Taking whatever little steps along the way you need to take. Even if you're still on your way that Shavasana pose, slowing the breath down. Especially the exhale, peaceful exhale. Softening and closing the eyes. And feeling that wonderful, easeful weight of your body. Not the burdensome weight, because we have nothing to do. We don't need to pull ourselves up. We don't need to hold on to things. Letting yourself just rest into the earth. And then breathing back into your body, into the room. Moving the fingers and toes, getting circulation going. Stretching the arms up overhead. Bending the knees. And gently making your way up to sitting. And sitting in any comfortable position with a long and spacious spine. Taking another moment, sitting quietly inside yourself. Namaste. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.